Hello everyone, my name is Sheen and this is a speed build of me building the Asian small clawed otter habitat. So first thing I did was looking for inspiration on Pinterest because, as you can see, I wanted to have another building, and since I'm not so good at building without any inspiration, I just searched a bit on Pinterest and found a building that I liked and that I tried to recreate. Of course, in the end, it's not 100% like the picture, but that's quite never the case with me, because I'm just not really good at recreating things 100%. So yeah, today is also the day when the conservation pack is released, and I already took a look, and not at the animals, but I dipped my toe into the plants, and I must say I really like them. In the next episode you will also see me using them, because that's what I built prior to making this voiceover. And yeah, so for now I only can say I really like what I've seen so far, and yeah, we will see in the second next video, is that right? Not in this video that will come after that, but the one after that. I will build the first time with the conservation, or for the animals in the conservation pack, because as I promised, I want to make leopards happening in this zoo. So yeah, that's what I will build after doing the next two episodes. So yeah. And also, can we please talk about the passing in this building? It was so ridiculous building that it took so long, and with the barriers to align and just stay where I wanted them to stay, it was horrible. Like, honestly, it was really horrible. But after I was able to get this horrible pathing out of the way, I had another horrible plan, because I wanted to have different roofs, and because that's what the inspiration picture was. But roofings in Planet Zoo are kind of like my nightmare. I don't think I managed to do this roof perfectly, but for me it's enough. I'm happy with how it turns out, and I'm just going to leave it like that. I think it looks phenomenal for what I can do. So we just don't talk about the roofing. So especially not from the inside. If you ever go into this zoo, don't look up in this building, because I can promise you it must look horrendous. So please don't do that. So I also did the habitat for the red pandas, because I mean, it's one building and it has two viewing areas for the Asian small-clawed otter and for the red panda, and so I just figured I do the habitats for both, and I will do the actual habitat barriers for the red pandas in the next episode. When you first build for Asian small-clawed otters, or if you ever built for them, did you know how tiny they was? I saw them in real life for like 20 seconds, then they went inside and I saw nothing. But for these 10 seconds, I thought they were bigger. Maybe it was because they were a little further away from me, so I estimated their how big they are, or how small, but I thought they were bigger than they turned out to be in Planet Zoo, and that kind of shocked me, because if you look at the size of the habitat that I made, it's almost a little bit too big for the otters, because they are just so tiny and small, and I didn't realize this while building, but I mean, I always have the problem that I build too big habitats for my animals, and that I just kind of stuff works and plants in there until it kind of fits. But especially for animals like these otters or prairie dogs, meerkats, all these little animals that we have in the game right now, it's so frustrating because you always can see the animals because I make so big and large habitats for them. So yeah, it's just I just underestimate how small these animals are, and then I end up with too big habitats for them. But I mean, on the other hand, the animals should love it, right? More space for them, so I guess it's not too bad, except for maybe some people complaining that they don't see the animals. But I mean, look closer, you know? Just like in a real zoo. In a real zoo, you don't always see the animals at the first glance, maybe not even in the second, and you just need to take your time while seeing them, or I mean not seeing them, and trying to see them, trying to find them, and sometimes you just don't see them. I was in 3 different zoos to finally watch a giant anteater in real life, not just in the game, and I couldn't see one. They were just all gone. In one zoo I did see one, but with the big old sea, I wasn't able to go into the house where I should have seen more from them, because they were literally in their indoor habitat, and this was only accessible if you can go into the house, and I couldn't go, so I just stand outside and could see them through the glass door and then through the glass barrier that they had between them and the guests inside the house. So I don't really let that count as I saw giant anteaters for real. And then in the same zoo, I would have been able to see them, but they went inside right when I came the way around, so I could just see them, like, just if I was a few minutes before that, I would have seen more of this animal, but I was so late and the animal just walked away and I only saw the backside. So I don't count that either, so but yeah, let's go back to the habitat itself that I'm building and not my experience with not seeing giant anteaters. I decided to have the barrier consist mostly of these falls rocks, and I decided that this will be some kind of theme, if you can call it a theme, that I'm going with, because I think in most zoos it would make sense to have the habitat barriers consists of unreal stones, but maybe inside the habitats it would be easier to just have normal stones. I actually don't know if that's true. Like, are they more expensive or cheaper than these unreal ones? But I guess it's not really something that should matter to me right now. So, but for me, I'm just going to say that the unreal ones are more expensive because they're weather resistant or something like that, and that's the reason why the zoo would use them as habitat barriers, so it would keep the animals safe inside their habitats. And for the insides of the habitats, they would use real rocks, because if inside of the habitat the rocks crack or something, it would not be a risk for safety risk. So they just going to leave it. If it's something that where the animals can get hurt, is still easier to fix than a risk of having them go outside of the habitats, having them escape. So yeah, and I also built, or what you saw me while I was rambling about Unreal and Real Rocks, was me building the little temple where the otters can go inside and have a break. And it's also made in the same style as the big house, but I actually prefer the smaller one. I don't know, maybe it's just because it's smaller and this kind of tells me that it looks nicer. I don't know, I just think I am better with building little houses or buildings in general than big ones, so yeah, that's why I like the little one more. And now I'm already going into the stonework of this habitat, and the Asian small-clawed otter is from the tropical part of Asia, and I mean, you must know by now what this means. This means covering the whole floor with stones and these fake planters from the aquatic pack. So that's what I did, that's what you can see. It's nothing new by any means by now for you, but it needed to be done because I can't stand these ugly terrain. So yeah, and then I also had another issue with the glass inside of the viewing area, but I came quickly to a conclusion where I was ready to move on again to the plants, and I have a lot of fun doing the plants, I must say, because it's just add something here and then there and then there and everywhere, and I don't know, it's just kind of relaxing, and I think it almost always looks really nice. And I also came to the conclusion that these plants, these water plants, are not for underwater, but actually they are like water lilies and they float above the water, as far as I figured that out. I mean, I googled it, and Google Pictures said they are not below, but on the surface of the water, so I needed to delete them. And yeah, now I'm doing the viewing gallery. Okay, no, first I do the barriers with the unreal stones, but then I guess I will do the viewing gallery for the underwater section. And I really like this. I really like how this whole section came out, and I also, you will later see me, or don't? Okay, no. Anyways, I gave this underwater viewing area name, and I called it the Otter Lagoon. I don't even know if what I built is a lagoon. I don't know, but I thought the name was cute, and so I just went with that. I also had for a few seconds the idea to have every viewing area, for not every, but for every animal, one viewing area that gets a designated name. So because I have the crane garden, this is where the red-crowned crane lives, then I thought about doing something for the Komodo dragons, but the thing is, every time you see the Komodo dragon as a viewer, you also see other animals before that or after that. The first time you go through the crane habitat and then you see the Komodo dragon, and the second time you see the Komodo dragons and then you see the Asian small-clawed otter. So you don't have a designated viewing area only for the Komodo dragon, and so I kind of scrapped that idea, because if I would say... I would have said the Komodo dragon and Asian small-clawed otter viewing area, I would have named them something like Komodo Valley or something like that. But the thing is, it's not a Komodo Valley because there are otters, you can see them there, and that's... I mean, otters are no Komodo dragons, so that's why I scrapped that, but maybe I can find another way to incorporate more names for the areas, but sadly this one wasn't something that I was quite happy with. And that's all I have to say for now. In a few minutes you will see the cinematic shots of the habitat. I hope you liked it, and we see each other in the next video. Bye!